Hey guys, welcome back to another live stream. Today is the 9th of June 2026. It is approximately 24 minutes past 9 Eastern Standard Time. We are going to do our pre-market prep. So let's jump over to TradingView and mark out today's trading range as well as the liquidity levels that we're going to be monitoring. So I'm going to jump over to the 15 minutes to get a better lay of the land. And what I will do is start off on the Nasdaq. So just focus here on the right. What I'm going to do first off is dot out today's new day open, which starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then thereafter, we want to see what the liquidity levels are for this current trading session. So anywhere from 6 p.m. to about 9:25, which is this candle that has just formed. Obviously, because we're on a 15-minute time frame, it doesn't show the 9:25 candle. Usually I'm on the 5-minute, but not to worry. So we're going to dot the two lines there. We're going to go quickly copy and paste on the B. Also just quickly draw a vertical line on that 6 p.m. There you go. So that pretty much just delineates today's trading range. Once again, new day open starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we do the same on the Dow. Now all I'm essentially doing is marking out my lowest low in today's range as well as my highest high of today's range. Alright, and what's important to note is also that on the Dow we are yet to take our previous day's high or previous day's low. So we're going to go ahead and mark out those specific levels as well. So we've got here buy side liquidity in the form of previous day's high. We've got here buy side liquidity in the form of current day high. Then at the bottom of our trading range, we have our sell side in the form of current day's low, and we have sell side in the form of previous day's low. Alright, so we're pretty much just going to be doing the exact same thing on our other indices as well. So we'll go over to the S&P 500, and on the S&P we're going to go ahead mark out today's low, which comes in the form of sell side liquidity as well as yesterday. So we can see that in today's trading range we also have not yet taken out previous day's low or previous day's high, so we are still within yesterday's trading range. Alright, now here we have buy side in the form of our current day high. Then we also have buy side in the form of previous day's high. Alright, so we can once again see that we are also yet to take out any of yesterday's liquidity. We're still in yesterday's trading range. Alright, so let's jump over to the Nasdaq. This will be the last one that we plot up. There we have previous day's high, just making sure on the left of that, previous day's high. Oh, I apologize, we've actually just taken our previous day high on the Nasdaq, so we won't need to mark out that specific level. Actually, you know what I will do, I'll just keep it there. Just as a good reference point, because the other indices have not yet taken that specific level out. So what we're going to do here is quickly just zoom out, get that level pinned over there, and that comes in the form of current data. Alright, now I'm quickly going to mark out my major low of today's trade session, which comes in the form of a current day low, as well as yesterday's low, which is previous day's low. Okay, now these are the two liquidity sets that I am looking at. Okay, let's mark that out as previous day's low. Alright, so quickly going to sift through. So the Nasdaq, we have taken our previous day's high. We are very to the current day high. We have about 1 minute and 20 seconds left until opening bell. So we have taken our previous day's trading range. Then on the S&P 500 we have not taken our previous day's trading range, and on the Dow Jones we have also not yet taken our previous day's trading range. So what we're going to do is just keep our eyes on the Dow. We're just going to keep plotting the buy side liquidity. Obviously the buy side has not yet been finalized. We we'll only have confirmation within the next minute, because when the opening bell hits, that's when I'm looking at my current day high, current day low, and that's pretty much my pre-market recap or market prep for the opening. So now what we are going to do is zoom back out. We'll have the Dow on the left of your screens. We'll have the S&P on the middle column. And as you can see, all of our levels have now been noted. Alright, so we have 15 seconds left until the opening bell. Let's quickly jot over to my FX book where we can see the fundamentals for today. We had high impact news come in at 8:15 in the form of employment change, which is a weekly news release. Now that has not affected us because we are only looking to trade from 9:30 onwards. We also have high impact news coming in at 10 a.m. Standard Time, and that comes in the form of existing home sales. Now that is something that we do want to keep an eye on. So I remember to inform you guys about that. Just remember, in half an hour, or 29 minutes to be exact, we will have high impact news, and that usually serves as a volatility injection within the marketplace. So let's keep an eye out for that. Now, market has just opened. We've already formed our current day high on the Dow. We are yet to do the same thing on the S&P 500, and on the Nasdaq we have also raided that specific current day high. So we're once again going to remain patient for this session. Remember, this is only the first minute or so within today's opening, but we can already see that two of our main indices taken out their levels, make that 3. So all 3 of them have now taken out current day high. Anything can happen at this specific point in time. What I do want to draw my attention to is the first 15 minutes of this particular trading session. Alright, and the reason I want to do that is usually in the first 15 minutes we can see a cracking correlation between our 3 assets, where 2 of them will have a bullish 15-minute candle close, and the other one will have a bearish 15-minute candle close. And that is usually a false move. Now the reason I look at it on the 15-minute chart, it's just a lot cleaner when you scale up your time frames. It makes a lot more sense, whereas on the lower time frames there always tends to be a little bit more noise, apologies. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. The Dow is moving rapidly towards its specific liquidity level in the form of buy side, previous day high. Now this is what I mean by that 15-minute cracking correlation. We can clearly see that the Nasdaq at this very moment in time looks to be going bearish. Okay, bear in mind it's about 13 minutes on this particular 15-minute candle, so pretty much anything can happen. But in the meantime, I just want to keep my eyes on the Nasdaq. I want to see what exactly this 15-minute candle can do. I am not too comfortable with taking longs. Well, I technically have 2 different models. One of them I'm going to be trying today. Another one of them is a pretty set in stone model. It works very well, high probability, it's not high frequency. So with this new model that I'm trying to test out today, I'm not sure if we'll take a trade on it, maybe just use it as a backtesting session. I've already done heaps of backtesting earlier on in the morning, but like I said, we are taking on investors' capital. We don't want to be trying new things with their money. So we're just going to stick to our normal trading model for now. But anything can happen, folks. Anything can happen. So we have 2 minutes left until the first 5-minute candle close of this session. Right now we can clearly see that the indices are not moving in tandem with one another. The Nasdaq is currently trading lower, whereas the S&P and the Dow are heading for its buy-side liquidity in the form of previous day high. Now, if we can get a long position before our S&P and Dow hit that previous day high, I'd be very comfortable in that particular model. But note that we also have already taken our previous day high on the Nasdaq. Alright, so let's stay patient, see what the rest of this 15-minute has in store. As always, I will keep you guys updated. Please let me know what you guys think of these live streams so far, and I will chat to you soon. Sit back, enjoy the music, stay patient, and as always, you guys will be informed with how we go today. Awesome. Alright, let's just fix that a little bit. There you guys go. Okay, so right now we are currently seeing the S&P is having a rapid impulse move towards the upside. Now the Nasdaq has formed our S&P, which is a very good sign for me personally. I really do like this specific S&P because not only have we seen the wick take out that specific level, but we've also seen the same with the body. Alright, and this is what I mean. This 930 body has closed below this common swing point found at 915. What I will rather do is mark it out like that, and we'll go ahead and label that. Common swing point. Go ahead, place that over there. Now, this is a perfect example of my first entry model that I would usually want to take. The only thing that I do not like about it is that we have already traded to that buy side liquidity in form of current day high. Now, we are yet to take buy side liquidity in the form of previous day high on the S&P. We have, however, taken that on the Nasdaq. So we are somewhat in a premium on the Nasdaq. We are also in a premium on the S&P 500. But I understand that in a trading range where we are stuck with the previous day's price action, we will be levitating to either a previous day high or previous day low. So our major draw on liquidity for today's session will probably be that buy side liquidity in the form of previous day's high. Now, the S&P looks very comfortable to hit that within the next 5 minutes. The Dow, same thing. The Nasdaq is somewhat our sixth sister for today's session. So she will be playing catch up, and that is the perfect opportunity to essentially align ourselves with the market. But we do need to see a change in state of delivery on the Nasdaq. We are seeing that on the S&P 500. So the S&P has just confirmed that it is wanting to push higher, and it is bullish, or it is in somewhat of a bullish buying model, but we need to see the same on a pair that has rated liquidity. So for right now, we are not in a market maker sell, we are not in a market maker buy. I am completely neutral at this very moment in time. I'm quite literally just sitting on my hands, waiting to see what price does. I'm also keeping my eyes out for this first 15-minute candle close, because as you see right now, we have about 4.5 minutes until this 15-minute candle closes. Now, on the S&P 500, we also have obviously 4 minutes on all of them until the 15-minute closes, but you can clearly see that the 15-minute candle on the S&P is bullish, whereas the 15-minute on the Nasdaq is bearish. So that is a cracking correlation for me. Now, if price wanted to continue higher, we would see a change in state and delivery on the Nasdaq towards the upside. I'd essentially want to see a 5-minute close above the 930 opening price. If we can get that, I will be looking to go long. If we can't get that, I will once again just be sitting on my hands and seeing what the rest of this particular session has for us. Now, my attention is only going to be on the Nasdaq for right now. What I'm going to do is take away that common swing point on the Nasdaq as well as the S&P. The Dow right now not exactly got my attention. I am just looking at it from a strength and weakness perspective. What I will do is move the chart like that so you guys can obviously see everything without my pretty face getting in the way. So we have about 3 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. I do like that we have a cracking correlation in our first 15 minutes with the Nasdaq being bearish and our other two assets being bullish. However, we cannot just trade for the sake of it. We must stay patient. We must see a cracking correlation within our assets. So let's drop down to the 5-minute. Now, with the Nasdaq, if we can see a change in state of delivery, I will be looking to go long, but we need to get that change in state of delivery within these next 5 minutes. Okay? What I'm going to do now is I'll show you guys the execution cam, or execution dashboard, should I say. And this is where we're going to be taking trades. Alright, you guys see exactly how much I am going to risk on this specific trade right here. Right, so okay, so 4.95. Right. What I'm going to do, we're going to go full scope on this specific one. We're going to zoom in so that we can see the exact price action occur. Now, I need to get into this specific asset before we take out that level, that buy side level on the Dow. All right. So if we do take this particular trade today, this is what I would need to see. So let's remain patient, see what happens. We have about 1 minute left on this particular 5-minute candle. Let's see what price unfolds. I would like to note that if we do see a raid in this particular buy side, before we can get our entry, then it pretty much invalidates that model, because I'm looking to get in the trade before the S&P takes out that particular level. Now, the Dow Jones still does need to go up and take out that level. Whether we see that or not, I'm not sure, but I do think we will see a push for that buy side level on the S&P 500. Now, we have about 11 seconds left of this particular trading session, so I'm going to get ready to push the button on my chart. Just 1 sec. We want to see exactly how this closes. So very good close. I'm not sure if we will get our entry before the S&P takes out that particular level. If the S&P takes out that buy side level, I am going to be bearish on every single one of my assets, since we have taken buy side on current day high. There you go. So S&P's taking it out. What we're going to do, we're going to clear this position. We're going to remain on our hands. I'll zoom back out so you guys can see exactly what's... Right, once again, interim broker of mine. I'm not affiliated with them. I do not recommend them. Then what I want to pay your attention to, or draw your attention to, is the real 20. Essentially, this is a live account. These are real funds. You can see my balance at the bottom. Should we take a position, this equity figure will fluctuate constantly, completely dependent on whether we're on a floating loss. It will show a loss. If we're in floating profit, it will show a profit. All right, so going to clear out that. Then we are going to go back to our technical charts. Thank you for that. Alright, and just like that, our 15-minute candle close is once again in tandem with one another. Every single one of our assets has had a bullish 15-minute candle close. Now, that completely prevents me from performing one of my trading models, but it's alright. We still have a lot of time in this particular session. We've only had the first 15 minutes, 16 minutes now. So yeah, there's still quite a lot that can happen. We are very extended in price towards the upside. We're in a deep premium right now, okay? And what I mean by that is we've taken our buy side liquidity from previous high as well as today's high. So what I want to actually do is draw your attention to the full charts, alright? We're going to go over to the 15 minutes so we can get a much better depiction of what price has done. Now, what I meant about yesterday's trading range, alright? From this pretty much marks out yesterday, okay? From about 6 to 6. So usually when we haven't yet taken our previous day's trading range, we are going to levitate towards that specific liquidity level. That's exactly why I was bullish on the S&P 500 at opening, as well as on the Dow. So we can see that the S&P has taken out previous day high. We can see that the Nasdaq has also taken our previous day high. Now, it's all got to do with the Dow Jones, and the Dow Jones is also in a trading range. It is also within yesterday's market profile. It has not taken out the high or the low of yesterday's range. Okay, now price is more often than not going to levitate towards at least one of these levels. Sometimes we get two, but we only prioritize one. Okay, now we do not have an entry model as of yet. Price has not exactly given us a good retracement except on the Nasdaq, but the only reason why I'm not taking that specific trade, one, we've not yet seen a retracement into our bullish order block, and two, we're so far extended to the upside that buying price now would just feel like we would essentially be chasing it, and it would be the perfect time to essentially contradict our original bias of wanting to go long. All right, think about it. We've only been going up. Buyers have only been winning. All of below every single one of these swing lows is sell side liquidity, minor sell side liquidity. All right, and essentially, if buyers are winning, the sellers are losing. So if we got a market maker sell model, I'd be first very happy, but two, I'd be very confident to take that specific trade. And the reason I'd want to do that is because we have obviously now gotten we've obviously only got upside momentum at the minute. So only people that have gone long are busy winning. Now, a buyer and a seller cannot win. Only one can win. If a buyer is winning, sellers are losing. Likewise, if the sellers win, the buyer is losing. All right? And right now, buyers are winning. So we want to essentially position ourselves as a contrarian trader and go against the grain. We would rather remain patient, see what price does. Perhaps we can see a rejection once the Dow takes out its previous day high. And if we could get a market maker sell model to pan out now, that would be a high conviction setup for me, because like I said, only the buyers are winning. If we could go against the grain and essentially take their money, we'd be winning. So let's remain patient, see what the rest of this session unfolds. We have had a very good price run within the first 20 minutes of this particular AM session. So once again, I'm going to love and leave you guys. Enjoy the music, and I will keep you guys informed as time progresses. Cool. Alright, so we are seeing a pretty hefty retracement on the Nasdaq as well as the S&P. Now the Dow is not quite there yet, and I'm assuming the Dow is still wanting to take out that specific buy side level, but this is exactly why I do not want to go long. The moment the S&P hits its previous day high, it gives it the perfect opportunity to essentially reverse and want to then re-engineer itself to seek opposing liquidity in the form of sell side found beneath the market. Alright, so for right now, we're once again just going to sit on our hands. I am going to mark out this common swing point to see if we can't see a possible reversal scenario form from that particular point over there on the Nasdaq coming in at 950. Yeah, coming in at 950. What I would like to see is us essentially returning to that particular level, and maybe we can get a S&T, a cracking correlation, where one of our assets raids that particular level, another one fails to do so. Right, we have a lot of data on these charts. I'm gonna take away one of them. Alright, so ideally what we do now is push higher on the Dow, where the Dow is able to take off that buy side liquidity level as well as that common swing high. We want to see the candle not only wick above that but also close above it, and then see if we can't get some form of rejection towards the downside. That would essentially create a market maker sell model, and I'd have high conviction to take a trade, participate within the market to go short and aim for either 1:1 or potentially a hold for current day low found in the form of sell side. Okay, so let's stay tuned. The Dow Jones is rapidly moving higher. We can see that between our three assets, the Dow should be able to hit that specific common swing high first, followed by the S&P, and hopefully we do not see the same on the S&P or the Nasdaq, but we are going to tolerate it if it happens. Just want to remain patient, see what the price does now, and fingers crossed we can get our reversal within today's AM session. Cool. Alright, remember we have just had that high impact news come out. That was the previous 5-minute candle, or that is this 5-minute candle. So hopefully we do see some volatility, either towards the upside or the downside. But here we can see that the Nasdaq has failed to change its standard delivery from bearish to bullish. Now, it's not a particular move that I'm looking for. Once again, I'm bearish on these pairs. We've already taken out all of my upside objectives, so there's not really a reason for me to want to go bullish. But if we do look at the first 30-minute candle that has just formed on the Nasdaq, so the Nasdaq's first 30-minute candle is bearish, whereas the S&P on the left of your screens is bullish, and the Dow is also bullish. So from a half an hour's perspective, we do still have that slight crack correlation. Alright guys, the market is dying right now. Okay, we've seen that buy side level swept immediately as the market opens, and now we're seeing a reversal towards that south side level. Now, Nasdaq, if any of them are going to hit it first, it will be the Nasdaq. I am perhaps looking at taking a short on the Dow Jones. Now, it's going to be a longer term short, so it is going to take a couple of candles, and that'll be on the 15-minute frame. So let's see what we can get with regards to that specific setup. I'm in no rush to take a setup right now. With rapid moves like this, we don't really have anything to base our trade off of. We would have needed to essentially short as soon as it swept that specific buy side level, which I did not do. Now, if anyone is short, congrats. If you are long, not anymore. But guys, for right now, just gonna remain patient. We want to see what exactly price does. If we can get a retracement towards that specific order block over there on the Dow, I will be looking to go short. But once again, time will tell if we can get the setup. So stay patient and I'll keep you guys informed. Alright, so guys, as you can see, I'm about to put a sell limit at that specific order block. Now, I'm not risking a big amount on this particular trade. The reason for that, this is a new setup of mine that I'm going to be taking, and also with a move this sudden, we would have ideally wanted to position ourselves a little bit earlier on, but we've not exactly seen that in price. So completely dependent on what we close this next 15-minute candle on, whether it is bearish and a change in state of delivery on our Dow, I will be looking to go short. Alright, so I will keep you guys updated. There is about 7.5 minutes remaining of this particular 15-minute candle, and after we see that close, I will let you guys know whether I'm short, whether I'm long, but more often than not, we are going to be going short. Okay, so stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Cool. Alright, so we have taken the short on the Nasdaq. We are currently up about $90. I'm going to try my stop very, very strictly. Quite literally just looking for that specific level to be hit. Fortunately, does look like we are going to hit it, and looks like we have just hit it there. So small take profit for us. Now, is it a good trade? Yes. Not exactly my best trade, nor is it something that I usually do. That was just a small sculpting strategy, but a good way to start the week off. So it was our first trade of the week. It's the first trade we've taken in quite a couple of days. Now, there were a couple of things that I would have liked to have changed, swapped around, and I guess that's what later on today is going to bring us. But you guys see here, there, we've taken our very first trade. So we're about 100 up in profit. Again, nothing too exciting, but it's a good way to start off the week. So let's see if we can't perhaps get any other particular trade sessions for today. And stay tuned. I'll let you guys know. Alright guys, now the fortunate thing is that we did not exactly go too big with the risk on that particular trade setup. Like I said, it's more a scalping model, not something that I implement on a regular basis. I don't actually trade on a regular basis because of just my general setups, but a good way to end it off now. We've obviously hit all of our price objectives. We've traded to buy side in terms of current day high as well as previous day high. We've also just hit our sell side level on the Nasdaq, which came in the form of current day low, as well as current day low on the S&P 500. Now, the Dow Jones still has its particular level in place. It has, however, not traded for buy side or sell side as of yet. So I was going to call the session here because I just didn't see too much panning out, but now that I'm going over it in my head, the Dow Jones still needs to take out either previous day high or previous day low, and at this point it's pretty evident that we are moving lower. So what I'm going to do is quickly sift through the charts. I'm going to see if we can't find some form of higher time frame PRA to essentially ping our specific setup off of, and then very similar to the trade that we just took is what we are going to try and do once more. Now, fortunately, we risked about $50 on that past trade. We made about $100, so roughly 1:2. We're going to try the exact same thing right now, except this time we might up the risk to about $100. So if we lose, we still break even on the day. But let's see how it goes, chaps. So stay tuned. Right, so I've just marked out the Econ 5 minute city. Right now, this is the exact same model that I've just done with that trade. Okay, it's essentially a sculpting model where I want to get in, I want to get out. Now, the draw on liquidity for me is the sell side liquidity in form of previous day low, either on the Nasdaq, S&P, or the Dow Jones. Specifically, though, the Dow Jones. Why? Because the Dow Jones has not taken out previous day high or low. S&P and Nasdaq have taken out previous day high. So we still have the price range available to us in the Dow Jones. Now, that doesn't mean we can't trade other assets. We just need to keep an eye on the Dow, because as soon as the Dow hits that previous day low, we will have taken out all forms of liquidity and I will be done for the day. But for right now, I've marked out that common city. For those of you who don't know what a city is, it is a sell side imbalance, buy side efficiency. Bottom line, it's going to act as a form of resistance or a roof where we expect price to bounce off of. But once again, there are a couple confluences that need to come into play in order for that to happen. So stay tuned for that, and let's see how the session goes. Cool. Alright, so let's dive back in here. What I am interested in seeing is what the Dow Jones did on the 30-minute time frame. It's still not changed its date and delivery. Whereas with the S&P, long gone. And that's still Dow. Okay, no, we're gonna leave that one. We are going to move towards our. Okay, we're gonna stay on the 1 minute, see if we can perhaps sculpt out a short targeting the previous day low in the form of sell side. What I'm gonna do here is just go full spec, full chart, get a much better understanding, make sure that we've pinned out the right level. Right about, okay, as close as it's gonna get without my OCD taking over. Okay, so we are gonna go back. We were on the 1 minute. Yes, sir. Alright. So we are currently seeing a rejection off of that city, but I need to see an SMT as well as a change in steady delivery, like we just saw in our previous 15-minute fair value gap or 5-minute common fair value gap found on all of our pairs. So we're going to zoom out here. We're going to put the Dow Jones back on the right pedestal. We're going to focus on all three of our assets in tandem with one another. I'd like to see us form an SMT now, but obviously if we don't, there's no rush. All right, we're not trying to chase price. We are at 11 a.m. We have about 1 hour left of this particular training session. So fingers crossed we can get another setup in today. Alright, let's remain patient. Now, I know that many of you will think that that is a change of state of delivery, but there's no cracking correlation. We formed the swing point on all three of our indices. We failed to take out that swing point on all three of our indices, and yes, we are currently moving lower, but I'm not looking to participate in that specific trade, even if we moon down now to our specific take profit level. But for now, I do want to see us essentially travel back up, take some form of minor buy side in which I can essentially hedge my position against that specific liquidity run. I'm essentially always trying to position myself in a contrarian standpoint, where if market is going lower, I'm looking for ways to go higher, and if market is going higher, I am looking for ways to go lower. So right now we are going lower, okay? Now, doesn't mean I'm looking to buy. Obviously need specific levels to remain open in the form of liquidity, and that will act as a magnet. Now, a magnet has two purposes. It's either going to attract price or repel price. So for right now, let's see if we can't get a push up on our indices to take out a common swing point. You can see two of them that are formed in that SIBI. If we can take that out, obviously close above at least one of them where the other two fail, then we would essentially stop our SMT procedure. Then once again, we need to wait for another confluence in the form of a change in state of delivery. That is essentially when the candle changes from market maker buy model to a market maker sell model. And what happens after we get a change in state of delivery is this impulse leg that we saw right over here, which essentially went for current day low on the Nasdaq as well as the S&P, but we have still not made current day low on the Dow Jones or taken any form of previous day liquidity on the Dow. So that is my draw on liquidity. That is the only reason I'm still sitting here with you guys right now. So I think it's worth a like, maybe a comment. A subscription would be fantastic, all of which are completely free and take less than 1 minute of your time. I know that there are thousands of you watching right now. It's pretty jarring, but we out here, boys. We are out here. So let's see what the session's got. We're in a very good zone, a point of interest, and that is obviously our common 5-minute SIBI. Okay, once again, SIBI stands for sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. All you need to know is that a SIBI acts as a form of resistance or a roof where hopefully price will hit its head fairly hard and come crumbling all the way down. That's our expectation, but once again, we cannot control the narrative. All we need to do as traders is essentially react and not predict, though we have a certain framework in our head of what we would want, ideally from price. We just need to sit here, remain patient, and see what price has in store for us. So, more on that in the moments to come. Sit back, enjoy the music, and I'll keep you guys updated. Cool. Alright guys, so right now we can see that the Nasdaq is making new highs in our SIBI, whereas the Dow Jones cannot. That is the exact SMT that I was talking about. Now what we want to see is essentially price resist or reject that SIBI. Sorry, that was the word I was looking for, not resist. Reject that specific SIBI, and we want to see some downwards momentum coming in the form of bearish candles. Okay. Now, once again, this is a 1 minute chart, so price will seem to be volatile. There will be somewhat noise with price, but as long as we can hold this SMT, the moment Dow makes higher highs on its current SIBI, we just gonna have to sit back. We need to once again see the raid new highs. But that's essentially the first confluence that we need to see happen, is some form of liquidity sweep or raid. Doesn't need to be previous day high or even current day high. It can be a intermediate term high or intraday high, any form of high, okay? Because we understand that there's liquidity above highs and below lows, okay? Now, for this particular scenario, because we want to sell, we need to see a high get swept, alright? So we need to see some form of rejection in price right now. Once again, my sell side liquidity is the target on the Dow. I'll hover my mouse over it. There you can see that is the sell side level. That is essentially what I am targeting for the rest of today's AM session. Now, if we can see a change in state of delivery, I want to see the Dow close below that specific point over there. Likewise, I need to see the S&P 500 close below there, as well as the Dow. Now, either the S&P or the Dow must close below. I just need either or. And the reason I say either or, not specific like that, because if we look at the S&P, it's taken out these highs, okay? There's clearly strength over there. Likewise, on the Nasdaq, we have also seen the exact same thing. And on the Dow, we can see that there is weakness, all right? It's not able to take out those specific levels. So what I'm going to do now, I'll quickly go and plot those so that we can see it and not have to guess. And fingers crossed that we can get some form of push down right now. That would be absolutely fantastic. We'd be able to once again calculate a couple lots so that should price give us our ideal trading conditions, we can take advantage of this market, go short. So you guys will see exactly what I mean now by SMT. Those highs have obviously been raided. Now we're going to have to act pretty quick here because it does look like price has plans to go for that sell side. So let's get the job done. Bottom line. Come on, man. You're joking, bro. I'm getting confused as to what screen I should be going for. But anyways, that's pretty much it. So what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna have to make a decision here as to what exactly I believe, and that would be it. Okay, so we are a little bit behind. Okay, actually be my change instead of delivery on the S&P as well as on the Dow. So what I'm gonna do here is, oh mate, I need my calculator right now. I'm hesitant right now, I don't know why. There's just something about it looking at my MetaTrader 4 that has caught my eye, and it's the fact that we haven't exactly seen a proper change in the state of delivery. It would have had to be this low, and the reason I say that is on the Nasdaq. Okay, look at how the Nasdaq doesn't have any down close candles found here. Nasdaq's only down close candle is over here. So that's what I mean by change in state of delivery. Even though this still counts, what we will do, still take this trade. Again, it's not my particular setup. Okay, I don't usually take these specific sculpting models, but it's still not a bad idea to do it. Again, I just don't like the fact that we are not seeing the exact same candles with regards to our indices, but it is still qualified as a change in state of delivery. So we are going to take this trade. We're not going to get too emotionally involved here. If we take a loss, so be it. Right, so we are in. As you can see here, I hover my mouse over there. Our risk is about 50 USD. Now, fingers crossed we do get that specific zone. I mean, fingers crossed we don't get that specific zone because that would be my stop loss. The only reason, once again, I'm taking this trade, I've already taken a trade before this, so technically, whatever happens in this specific setup, we are profitable on the day. Okay? Alright, now, all I want to essentially see in price is, yes, if we do get a push down, that is absolutely fantastic. And once more, my target is either this specific sell side here on the S&P 500, or I will be looking for the Dow. Technically the Dow on liquidity. So I'm not actually going to change that up, we'll just stick to that. But as soon as we can go 1:1, we'll be going break even on this specific trade, and that is 1:1, because remember I was risking about 50 USD, and we just hit that 50 USD. So we're already break even, which is very good. We've managed to take one trade prior to this. We won for 1:2. We risk approximately $50. We made $100. Now we are once again risking $50 for about. Should we be able to hit that, it would be another $200. So that would put us up roughly about $320 for the day. Should we be able to hit that zone? Now, once we go to about $100, that would be 1:2. I'm going to trail my stop slowly but surely until we can hit a specific point. Alright, so let's stay tuned, see what price has for us. But we're break even right now, which is very good news for us. We have no more risk on the table, regardless of what happens in this specific trade setup. we are profitable on the day, roughly up $100. I will be doing a market review later on today where I can show you guys exactly what we've done and how we've made this possible. Alright, so stay tuned for that. Like I said, the change in state of delivery that we saw on this particular trade was not my favorite because we could not see the exact same price in the Nasdaq. But nevertheless, we don't want our emotions to get involved. Change in state of delivery is a change in state of delivery regardless of how we look at that. So we did manage to see that in today's session. Now we are currently trading lower. We have seen a change in state of delivery on our S&P as well as our Dow Jones. So what we want to see now is price go towards the downside. Obviously our target is this here, sell side liquidity level. Now will we get that? I'm not quite sure. We're just going to have to remain patient. Again, I've gone break even fairly early on just to reduce my risk. Like I said, not exactly my trading model. But we want to take risk off the table early on, which is what we've done. So let's see what we can do here. I'm not sure if we will get our take profit hit or whether we'll go out break even, but time will tell. So enjoy the show, enjoy the music, enjoy the trade. I will keep it running for you guys and I will see you shortly. Cool. Sorry, I was muted. Alright guys, that is take profit hit. So that is 2 trades taken today. We have 2 trades. We made approximately $100 on our first trade, risking $50, and then we made about $200, risking $50 once more on our second trade. So very good day. That pretty much wraps it up for me. There's not really a point in me sitting here for too much longer. If you guys can see there, the trade was taken on a real account in front of you. I've calculated my lot sizes or contracts live in front of you. It does not get more authentic than that, chaps. And hopefully we can do many more of these. Now, the absolutely fantastic part is this model is something that I've only picked up on today, and I've only started backtesting it earlier on today. So I am fairly confident that we use it going forward. Now, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day on your side, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, all the best, and